Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations to the Almighty, respected elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students. Sai Ram and welcome to yet another beautiful morning to celebrate the World Cultural Festival. Swami Vivekananda once declared, "We are not just a nation, but a universal power, not a race, but the whole humanity." True greatness lies in embracing the entire world as our family. As our scriptures proclaim, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Over the past 15 days, we have witnessed this truth shared by different speakers from around the world, carrying the unique traditions, languages, and culture have come together here in celebrating this unity of one word, one family. The World Cultural Festival is not just merely an event, it is a living testimony that when our hearts unite, borders dissolve. It is our privilege and honor to welcome Mr. Sheikh Burhanuddin Arman from Germany as part of the Universal Wisdom for a United World lecture series. His journey into the spiritual path began at a very young age. He started practicing yoga with the guidance of the 16th Karmapa Rangjung Rinpoche Dorje of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. His destiny soon drew him to Nask Buddhist Sufi order under the guidance of his master Malwan Sheikh Nizam Al-Haqqani or Harabani. For the very first moment he encountered with his master, Sheikh Burhanuddin's life was transformed. And for the next 35 years, he remained with his master, traveling across the world and spread the message of love. Today, Sheikh Burhanuddin continues to lead spiritual gatherings and workshops across the globe. Alongside his teachings, he shared his gift of music to Darwish Orchestra. He invites seekers to bring spirituality into daily life, to embrace love, respect, and to discover joy of freedom. We welcome Mr. Sheikh Burhanuddin Harman.
Assalamu alaikum. Blessings to all of you and to our honorable host, Sadhguru, and to Sai Baba. We are so honored to be here. So when they called me to speak here, I was thinking this is will be a meeting where mainly there are adults, no? But now we see the majority is youngsters, no? So in the night, Maulana came to me and said, "Look, you have to change the whole thing. You know, this is not. This is for youngsters. Yeah? Speak to them, and the others also they will benefit. But basically, it is for you, no." So think of me like your grandfather. Yeah, Sadhguru is your father. I'm your grandfather. You know, and you see, the father has to be strict. No, sometimes. With the grandfather, he can be very easy. You know, he's always giving bonbons. You know, and it's very nice to be grandfather. So when the divine created the body, everyone looked at himself and looked also to the others, and they were not happy. Yeah. They were saying, "I'm too small. Look at this one, he's a tall one. I have brown eyes, the other one has blue eyes. Yeah. I'm not wide in my shoulders, too small there." Everyone had a complaint about their nose, about their ears, about everything, you know. So the divine listened to this noise, no? And he was sending an angel and saying, "What is going on?" And he went there and came back and said, "You know, Everyone is unhappy. Yeah. So what do we do? And he said, let me give them something that they are happy. Yeah. And he gave us the mind. No? And when they had received the mind, they looked at the mind and they said, oh, my mind. My mind is so special. Yeah. It is so special. No one has a mind like me. Right? It is not a mind, it is the mind. No? And no one asked to change his mind with the mind of anybody. Right? So you are unhappy with a lot of things maybe in your life, maybe not you, but many outside here, right? But you're never unhappy about your mind. Yeah. Mind is everything, and we say, when you identify with the mind, you see, you get blinded by your own mind. No? Because for everything you refer to the mind, isn't it? Yeah. You ask it everything and you find out that the mind has no answers. It doesn't really tell you, think. It really doesn't give you a path. Yeah. Because the mind has a negative polarity. Yeah. It is there to doubt, it is there to research, yeah. It wants to dissect, no? But it doesn't give you an answer about life. What is the meaning, what is the purpose of life, you know? Yeah. If you ask yourself, what is the purpose of my life, you know, you probably will refer what somebody has told you, no? Or what is my mission in life, no? Yeah. Or some listeners coming? Huh? Yes, right? So, you can't think the divine. Yeah. Yet, and this is because you can't think the divine, faith, spirituality and the mind doesn't go well together. Yeah. When you start to think logic, you ask yourself so many things. You will ask yourself, why are babies coming sick in this world and they have problems from the very first day? What did they do? Yeah. What is their fault? No? Or some are hungry, some are wealthy born, and so on and so on. No? Then you can say, okay, there was a before, yeah, but not everyone believes that, right? So the logic mind cannot answer, yeah, right? If you ask the mind about love, what can it say? It cannot say a thing, you know, because love cannot be understood either, right, with the mind. You don't know why you are so crazy about love. You cannot explain it. It's just there. If it comes over you, your mind goes, no, because they cannot coexist, right? And there are two minds. One is a mind that talks all the time, yeah, and wants to be right, is the one that says, I'm right, yeah, I'm better than you, I know better, yeah, and so on and so on. No? That mind makes you unhappy, yeah. Yes? Because even people believe, but as long as you do not have a real experience of the divine, you will create the divine in your mind, yeah, and that can never satisfy you, yeah. And when the day shall come that you meet, hopefully for all of you, that will turn everything around what you have thought, yeah. Yeah. It cannot be different. Yeah. The mind cannot embrace the divine. There is no way to do that. Yeah. The mind cannot embrace love either. Yeah. Yeah. And this is why the love and the divine, they harmonize so well, right? So, if I would suggest you one intention to have, it is to ask to meet the divine. Because whatever sorrow you experience in your life or you will experience, it will be taken away the moment you meet. That I can promise you. No. Whatever there is, whatever hurt you, whatever you think is unjust in this world, whatever you might not understand yet, all of that will be solved in one moment. Right? You will understand why everything happened as it happened. You will know simply why you are where you are, and that everything in every moment is just perfect arranged. No? But the mind cannot do that. It cannot be satisfied. No matter what happens to you, there is always a little thing left that says, yes? So I want to give you two things to remember, lifelong. But before we go there, I want to say a little bit about unconditional love. Because everyone says to you, have unconditional love. No? Yes? No. You see, if you get from the very day on, from the very first day, just unconditional love, there will be no way for you to grow. If everything is just unconditional, you can do what you want, you will always have unconditional love, there is never a consequence, you will never awaken, So before you reach unconditional love, you reach to a completely different point, that you understand what is right and what is wrong. And that everything in your life, whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you speak, it has consequences. Yes? And only if you understand that, and that you understand also there is laws. There is laws of life, there is laws of a social life also. We have legal laws as well. And all that makes us to grow. So unconditional love, first you master the laws. You master the restriction, you accept the limits. You understand there is no ideal situation, because you did not come here in this world to find an ideal situation. This is the third dimension here. This planet is a troubled planet. It's made like this. Here you learn to become a human. Okay? No? Hafiz, one great Sufi master, he said, if you want to become God, become a human first. Right? So, the worst parents you could have is parents that understand everything, that they're always sweet, that they always give their love to you, no matter what you do or you don't do. That would be the worst parents. And this is why you have parents, they may maybe not understand everything from you, right? One day you will say, my mother, I don't know, my mother understands me, does not understand me. My papa does not understand me. Very good papa. If you have a papa like this. Yes? The papa says, do this, or don't do this, right? So the father, Sadhguru, yes, your father, remember? He has some conditions, and this is good for you. That's the way you grow. Yeah. And our Westerners, when they hear unconditional love, they get already excited, oh, unconditional love, oh, yes, we have to be in unconditional love, yeah. Right. Love has a brother, yeah, and that's the truth. And the truth comes first. Yeah. The truth is where we can meet. Yeah. Yeah. We cannot meet in love. You cannot love everyone. You cannot. If I say to you, love everyone, love your neighbor, love him, love her, you cannot do that with everyone. Yeah. Is it or not? Yeah. But you can be true with everyone. And you understand when truth comes, you have an organ inside of you that can recognize truth. Yeah? There is never a doubt about truth. Yeah. So when you follow the truth, your reward will be love. But if you just go with love, you will create a chaos in your life. Yeah. Right? So look first for the truth. Am I true? Am I living a true life? Yeah. Do I know what I'm here for? Yeah. Do I understand who am I? Yeah. Yes? Good. Have the courage to walk with your own truth. Yeah. Do not just take the truth of others because someone said it. If you just hear the truth from someone else and you never think it yourself, it will not become your truth and it will stay weak in you, My master always said, don't take anything what I'm saying. Yeah. Check it. Check it yourself. If it is true for you, then it becomes your truth. Right? And sometimes maybe it's difficult. Yeah? The master says something and you say, okay, yeah. Wow, yeah. Then don't become nervous, all right? Yeah? Don't say, oh, he is wrong, but leave it. Leave it. So make the truth your first intention. Yeah. That can never go wrong. There is never a doubt about truth. With love, you cannot know. Does he love me? Does she love me? There is no certainty in love, right? It is not clear, right? And how he loves me or how she loves me, yeah. Right? No. So when we look what is the first thing we have to learn? Yeah. That is thankfulness. Yeah. Thankfulness, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Today is a beautiful day. Thank you. Yeah. Then it rains. Maybe you get wet. Thank you. Yeah. You make thank you your second nature. Yeah. When you get up in the morning, before you get up, usually you will scan your mind and look the point that is painful for you. Yeah? Did you notice? Yeah? Right? You look, And you look, where's your problems, and looking under the bed, yeah, for your problems, and say, "Oh, my problems, come, come, come. Yeah, we have things to do." No, yes. And when you realize that you do that in the morning, that is the moment you should say thank you. Okay. Then before you go to sleep, try to go with that thought of thankfulness to sleep. Yeah. Make it your second nature, no matter what happens. Say thank you. Yeah. And this is a mantra that it should be said in your language. Yeah. When Westerners, especially Germans, when Germans take a spiritual path, they want to be more Indians than the Indians. No? Maybe you noticed. Yeah. Oh, they see it and everything, is always very, full power lotus, yeah, and everything, very, very serious, no? Yeah. It's very serious, the guru comes, yeah. Everyone else doesn't matter, no, but this guru. So, and if you don't do it very quickly, you're out, finish, yeah. Right. So thank you is in your language. Make it in your language. Yeah. If you say thank you in any other language that is not yours, it won't touch you like that. Yeah. Okay. So say it in your language, right? That is the language that is closest to your heart. Yeah. If I say I love you, yeah, and it is not in your language, okay, it is okay somehow, yeah, but when someone says it in your language, it is another thing, isn't it? Yeah. So say it in your language, right? And the second thing I like to give to you is that you say the other first. Yeah. The other first. So we have a habit in our tradition when both come to a door, yeah, and they want to go through the door, we say to the other, please, you go first. No? And if you do that very consequently, something in you will relieve, no? Because the mind, the ego hammers on you and says all day long, worry about yourself first. Yeah. Think about yourself first. Yes? And the idea of a family is that you think first about the other. Yeah. Otherwise, it just stays a mental concept. We are one family, but I'm thinking on myself first. That is not family. Yeah. Yes? Think about the other first. When there is food, you make sure the other one first have food. You give the water first in their glass. You pour the water first to them, right? And in your culture, that is so deep inside that you say, okay, we do all that, yeah. But it is good that you are conscious about it, not just as a habit, no, right? Or there is here with our great musicians, we have several singers, no? And let's say there is a debate, who sings first, no? Then give that place to your brother, yeah? And if you do that, you will see that your heart becomes peaceful, no? The other first. These two things I like to give to you, yes? And they are easy. You don't have to think it complicated, no? So very happy to be here for you, yeah. And you are our future, yes. Even there is no future in that sense, because there is no time of what we think there is time, no? And we cannot think time because there is no time actually. Yeah. Yeah. You cannot go to the future. You cannot go to the past. You have never anyone visited the past. Yeah. And you cannot go to the future. You are always, at any moment in your life, you are just here in this moment. No? And there is not even a moment, you see. Yeah. If you want to grab a moment, how do you do that? Yeah. You cannot. Yeah. Because there is no moment. There is simply no time. Yeah. So when your mind says, oh, I have no time, say it. No, no, you have time. There is time, there's always time. Don't worry. No? Because no time means endless time, isn't it? Yeah. And this is what you are. You are an eternal being. Yeah. You come here for a small visit, for a very short visit, you will find out in time that it is very short. Yeah. You see, yesterday I was like you, exactly. Not even yesterday, I would say 1 hour ago. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look. I love birds. Yeah. Look, he's sitting on my TV here. Huh? Naughty. Yes. So you come just like a flesh almost, you know. Therefore don't take it too serious. Okay? No matter what happens, don't try not to take it too serious. Yes? Yeah. And the other thing is, do not make yourself depending on love from someone. Yesterday someone said, you know, that God loves you. Yeah? You have to look that God loves you, right? But you see, when you love, you own it. Yeah? If you hope for being beloved, you become a prisoner. Yeah? You become dependent. And it will never be like this, that everyone loves you. All right? But you can try to do that. But don't ask it. No? Just make sure you love. Then what you seed, you reap. No? If your love is true, right? It is not just a game, it's not just a word, but let's say it is your true love. True love must come back to you. Hmm? Yes? You be thankful, but do not expect that others are thankful to you. Don't do that. Yeah, you will hurt yourself because some might not be thankful. Even you serve them all life. Yeah. They will not be thankful. Okay? And don't take it personal, you know. You be thankful, all right? You be kind. If they're not kind, it is their business, never mind. So when you keep that, you be free. Yeah. If you wait for others' love, for others' recognition, for others' confirmation, you will be a prisoner. No, you will be weak. Don't allow that. Don't disempower yourself. All right? Oh. Okay, my sweet children. MashaAllah. You are so giving me such a happiness. You have no idea, you know. Yeah. Subhanallah. Yeah. Yes. So that might be enough for today. Yeah. Thank you very much. And all the best. Thank you.
We express our deep gratitude to Mr. Sheikh Barhanuddin Arman for sharing his deep wisdom and inspiring words with us this morning. Now we shall have a short break and reconvene for Satya Darpan.
विघ्नविनाशक गणनाथा विघ्नविनाशक गणनाथा विघ्नविनाशक गणनाथा विघ्नविनाशक गणनाथा प्रणवस्वरूपा Shankara Bholanath Hari Narayana. Narayana, Hari Narayana. Narahari Rupa Narayana. Narahari Rupa Narayana. Vaikunthavasa Namo Narayana. Vaikunthavasa Namo Narayana. Vaidehi Mohana Narayana. Vaidehi Mohana Narayana. Narayana, Hari Narayana. Narayana, Hari Narayana, Veda Parayana. Narayana, Veda Narayana, Hari Narayana.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations at the feet of Sadguru, respected elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students. Welcome to yet another session of Satya Darpan. During the last Satya Darpan discourse, Sadguru began by revealing that an individual undergoes multiple cycles of birth and death in pursuit of worldly pleasure before developing and yearning for the supreme knowledge. Hence, it is important to begin this journey by understanding the true nature of the world and surrender to the Guru like a dry wood, free from the vasanas of worldly desires. This journey leads one to a Guru who guides the disciple through the 7 steps, starting with Ajnana, ignorance, followed by the 3 faults of the mind, Mala, impurities, Vikshepa, distortion, and Avarna, the veil of ignorance, which is followed by Parokshanubhava, the indirect knowledge received from the scriptures and the Guru. Once we practice this knowledge, we experience Pratyakshanubhava, the direct experiential knowledge culminating in Dukkha Nivritti, freedom from the sorrows, and Sukha Prapti, the attainment of the ultimate bliss. While explaining the 10th sloka, Sadguru revealed that the entire universe has emerged from the self and will dissolve back into the self, just like a pot dissolves into clay, a wave into water, or a bracelet into a gold. One who realizes this supreme truth is not perturbed by death, for they understand that discarding the body is merely like exchanging of an old car for a new one. May we invite Dr. B.N. Nasimurthy ji to address all of us.
Most adorable Sadhguru, brothers and sisters, very dear students, boys and girls. In the 10th and the 11th shlokas of the second chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita, which were taught by Sadhguru day before yesterday, we find Janaka, the king Janaka, reveling in the glory of his own self. Self, which is also the source of the whole universe, origin of the universe, and final destiny of the universe. It is obvious that for the first time he got this experience after listening to Ashtavakra. Because in the very first shloka of the first chapter, he prays to Ashtavakra, Katam Jnanam Avapnoti. How will one attain the ultimate self-realization? That is the question he is asking. Katam Muktir Bhavishyati. How does the final liberation happen? He is asking. What it means is, he had not experienced it before that point of time. Then we find Ashtavakra teaching him the highest wisdom in the simplest language possible. Not only did Janaka understand the meaning of what was said by Ashtavakra, he also experienced it. See, that is the greatness of the Sishya, who was so well prepared, he experienced it, and now he is exulting. He is full of wonder and amazement at his own reality, which is not identification with the body-mind complex of King Janaka, but that of the Supreme Self. So he is exulting. And what does he say? He says, Matto vinirgatam vishvam mayeva layameshyati. See, one is, most of us, if you are spiritually evolved, we experience the joy of the self. We experience the, at least, ecstasy of bliss, of devotion to God, which will ultimately lead to the experience of the self. But what he is saying is different. For the first time he has attained this jnana. When we look at the life of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, because this Sadhguru had explained, there are three types of samadhi. Here is some examples. When Ramakrishna for the first time, he experienced the Brahmajnana, which was taught to him by Bhairavi Brahmani. She was the guru to teach him the Advaita Anubhava, the ultimate experience. He lost himself to the world. He was lost for all reasons. 3-4 days he was in that state. He didn't come out of that state. Other people were worried. But Bhairavi Brahmani said, he is greater than me. For an attainment which I took many, many years, a few minutes was enough for him to attain this experience. Therefore, don't worry about him. And after 4 days, he came back. Same thing happened to Ramana Maharshi. He was lost to the world for many years. First 2-3 years he was lost. But it was divine will that this Venkataraman, who had this highest experience, should become Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi to guide thousands of spiritual aspirants. The divine will prevailed and his body was looked after by another Jnani who was around at that point of time. Sheshadri Swamigal, who looked after him like a child. And he fed him milk. He would drink milk like baby while sleeping also drinks milk. Similar way, he fed him and saw to it that his body was not lost. But here is Janaka. See, in that state of Ramakrishna and Ramana, they are aware of the self, but they are not aware of this world. They are lost to the world for all purposes. But here was Janaka, who was aware of the self and aware of the world also together. See, that is what Sadhguru explained as Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Sahaja Samadhi. Both Ramakrishna and Ramana experienced without any effort, effortlessly, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But here was Janaka who straight away went into Sahaja Samadhi, when you are aware of both the world and the self. See, that is a very supreme example of Sahaja Samadhi. Being a king, you could not have been lost for 3 or 4 days to the world. And that is what Sadhguru many times explains. Samadhi getting lost, not many people, not most people can afford that. Means suppose you are in Samadhi state, you are not able to move, somebody has to carry you. But what Sadhguru says is, being aware of the self and aware of the world, and that is what Brahmavidam Varishtaha says the Mundakopanishad. Atmaratihi Atmakrida Kriyavan. You are working for the welfare of everyone. You want to enlighten many more people. See, that is the compassion of a guru. Any guru feels compassionate. Why are these people simply suffering for no reason at all? This ignorance is like a dream. They have to just wake up. And he tries to wake us up. See, that was the state of Janaka. And what he says, Matto Vishwam, Vinirgatam Vishwam. From me has come out this universe. And Mayeva Layameshyati. Finally it will dissolve into me. So look at the glory of the highest spiritual experience of Janaka, King Janaka Maharaja, who had prepared himself for many years. He ruled his kingdom righteously over many years. He had performed many yagas and yajnas. And he also adored many sages, gurus. Somebody like Yajnavalkya was also in his court. And he has heard the spiritual discourse from many people. But the attainment happened when we heard this 12-year-old Ashtavakra expounding the highest truth, again in the simplest language. And he goes on to say, and he's so much in amazement, he says, Aho aham namo makhyam. I salute myself. He says, who is saluting whom? And Sadhguru explained, the Janaka king with body consciousness or the Jiva Prajna is saluting his Divyanubhava, the highest self, Brahma, he says. And not only that, he says, Vinashaha yasya na vidyate. He says, I have no death, I have no destruction. He has got over the fear of death. Not exactly fear here because probably he didn't have fear, but he has got over the illusion that he is going to die because he is not the body. His realization is so very perfect. So that is the glory of Janaka Maharaja, who listened to Ashtavakra and attained the highest wisdom. As was explained by Yatish for our students, Sadhguru made it very simple by saying there are 7 steps. We are also listening to Sadhguru, but why it is not happening to us? Precisely for the reason there are 7 steps. We are not even crossed one step. Step by step we have to go. Sadhguru explained, Mala is the first obstacle. Impurities of the mind. Attachments to the worldly pleasures. Attachment to the people, places, things, and desires for the worldly pleasures. All these things are called mala. Mala means impurities. and you have to get rid of them. First step, how do you get rid of them? That is why, like Sadhguru says, he has sheltered all of us at his lotus feet. And also he has given us hundreds of opportunity to serve, do work selflessly. See, by doing selfless work, you can purify your mind. That is first step. Unless we do that, we can't go to the next. Next is vikshepa, fickleness of the mind. Even if the mind is pure, you can't sit quiet for 10 minutes. That's what Baba told me when I was a boy and went to him and prayed to him, Swami, grant me sakshatkara. He asked a simple question. Can you sit quiet for 5 minutes and focus your mind? He asked me. If you cannot sit quiet for 5 minutes and focus your mind, how will you get Daiva Sakshatkara? That's what he asked me. He said, you have to walk on the path. He showed the path. And that is the path which has really given me blessedness and great fulfillment in life. How do you get rid of this fickleness? You have to meditate, contemplate on a form of God, which you choose as the Ishta Devata. That is one of the ways. So that you get some focus of your mind. You are able to focus your mind and get rid of the fickleness of the mind. And then comes avarana, is the fundamental ignorance of thinking that I am the body, though I am not the body. How do you get rid of avarana? A guru like Sadhguru, when he tells us, first we get paroksha jnana, that is not direct experience, it is his experience, we believe in it, and we get knowledge, yes, such a thing is possible. And then pratyaksha jnana, by Guru's grace and your own effort, you get direct experience of the self, and then what happens? Shashvata dukkha nivrutti. Ultimately, permanently, all sorrows and miseries disappear, and ananda prapti will happen. So we have to go step by step. And why Sadhguru insists, like simple thing like for our students, so many disciplines are there. Why are there disciplines? It helps you to focus your mind. It helps you to make your mind go inward, because as Sadhguru said, God has made the world in such a way that it will take you away from the world. Your senses and mind always go outward. How do you take it inside? I tell you, are there any students, university students, who can sit quietly like our students are sitting for 9 to 10 hours a day? I tell you, all of us should really give them a big applause to all our students. How did it happen? It didn't happen all of a sudden. He gave them training. Morning, evening, you have to get up early, sit down for Supravatam, prayers. And now here he insisted, don't make noise. See, when your mind is going inward, you don't talk. You become nativadi, you won't speak. And boys are able to maintain such silence. Girls are able to maintain such silence. All this is for taking you upward. And it is his compassion. Don't think that, disciplines are imposed. They are not imposed. They are all training you. So that, at this very young age, you are able to focus your minds, which we did not do. People like us, many of us elders here, nobody taught us all this. I had not heard about Ashtavakra Gita. Even the name Ashtavakra Gita I had not heard. Even when I graduated, I didn't know about it. See how fortunate you are. You have to congratulate yourselves, and we are all there to congratulate you. With these words I conclude and pray to Sadhguru for his nectarian discourse on the Ashtavakra Gita. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.
Yesterday we learnt, and it's been repeated already twice by the one who announced as well as Narasimhamurthy ji, about the 7 steps. It starts with purification of the mind, the first step. Once I had met a new person whom I had taken to Puttaparthi for darshan. He was totally new to Puttaparthi and everybody there. So he wanted to know what is the core philosophy of Bhagavan. What is that he insists or he preaches. And I gave him a book or two saying, you read, there are many things he says, whatever appeals to you, you do that. Like Ramana Maharshi philosophy is, who am I? Enquire. The other philosophies are of many other people. So what is the philosophy of Bhagavan? So I gave him the book, and then he concluded that his philosophy is purity. Develop purity of mind. And that will lead you to divinity. So Bhagavan used to put it very nicely. Unity, purity, divinity. Unity is thought, word and action should be aligned. You say, I want God, I want moksha, I want liberation, but you don't really do anything about it. You're only saying, but you really don't mean it. Then how are you going to attain it? The first thing is that intense focus. That if I want God, then I have to work towards it. I can't just say I want God and do things opposite to that. So that is the unity. Unity of thought, word and deed, what we call as Trikarna Shuddhi. That is the first step on spiritual path. That is why Ashtavakra tells Janaka, Shama Arjava Daya Tosha Satyam Piyusha Vat Bhaja Arjavam. That straightforwardness, the integrity of thought, word and action is the most important thing. And as I mentioned, we all say we want moksha, but how many of us are really serious about it, that we have aligned every thought, word and action towards achieving it, without any other thing contaminating the process or diverting us or distracting us? How many of us? We want God for some time, and after that we want the world. It depends. Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. This. Everybody remembers God in difficult times. Everybody thinks, when some difficulties come in life, ನನಗೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಕೊಡಿ ಭಗವಂತ ಇದರಿಂದ. Somebody has a problem in life, please give me moksha from this. That is only when we are in trouble. Suddenly we want God. Suddenly we become what we call smashana. Vairagyam comes. What is this world? After all, it is nothing. That story is there, no? The sour grapes of the fox, like that it is. It is not, when you can't achieve it, it is sour. Like that, this moksha marga is for everyone, because I said it's your birthright. That's what you are meant to be in the first place. You are not supposed to be everything else that you thought yourself to be. But then, are you really, seriously, intentionally, and with complete sincerity and focus practicing every moment of your life this whole idea of moksha prapti? If not, then how is it arjavam? How is it unity of thought, word and action? So that is the very first step. Most of the people fail, because there are a lot of desires and temptations. You want all that, and then also you want God, but that is mutually exclusive things. Children know in Venn diagram, sets are there. There is a set called world, there is a set called God. You try to mix both, it doesn't work like that. They're mutually exclusive, as they say in mathematics. You cannot have them together. You want God, you have to give up the world. World in the sense, the worldly desires and ideas. And if you want world, then God is not going to happen to you. So between the two you choose. That is how his path is. It's very clear. That is mala. The impurity of mind is this. No integrity of thought, word and action is the impurity of mind. Once you get it all aligned, it will start flowing from there. Next thing will happen is purity. Automatically mind gets purified, because you want God, you think of God, you speak about God, you do everything to achieve that divine status. So that is how purity happens. And when purity happens, divinity is just the other name for purity. If you are pure, you are already divine. So that is what is the process. That is why mala, vikshepa, varana, then paroksha jnana, aparoksha jnana, dukha, nivrutti, sukha, prapti. This is how it happens. But let me tell you, the moment you are pure, all the other steps takes no time. It is the first 2-3 steps that takes all the efforts. Means mala, vikshepa, varana. To get rid of this only takes all our life. 95% of work is this only. The remaining, whatever the remaining 4 steps happen in like 5% of efforts. Because you are already there. So Janaka, why he has realized this so quickly? Because he has done this Malavikshepa Avarna business for the last whatever number of years of his sadhana. He has met great rishis, performed yajnayagas, done dana, run the kingdom with honesty, with integrity. All these are already there in him. He was already a very pure soul, noble soul. That is why the other steps happened for him very quickly. The moment Paroksha Jnana happened, that is, Ashtavakra started telling, you are always free, you are the self, you are a blemishless, all these things. Na kartasi, na bhoktasi, mukta evasi sarvada. He tells him that is Paroksha Jnana, which is indirect knowledge of Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra is sharing, that is the nature of the self. And then Janaka, as if by some magic, he says, I don't know if it's some kind of strength, I got the point very quickly. Janaka himself seemed to be surprised. How did I get it so quickly? And he says, now sir, that I have got it. And then he starts explaining and expressing his joy of that state. So for him, aparokshanubhuti or direct knowledge, pratyaksha anubhuti happened just like that. In 20 shlokas, 19 shlokas, he already got the point. Why? Because he was ready. His all other basic fundamental efforts on the spiritual path were all perfected. So he was already a ready, deserving candidate. Somewhere a shloka comes, I think it's a part of the Kathopanishad, which says, Na varito, na avidato duscharitat, na ashanto, na asamahitaha, na ashantamanasovapi prajnanenam apnuyat. Which means, na aviratato duscharitaha. Those who have not given up doing the wrong things. Na avirataha. Those who are still not detached from doing the duscharita, wrong actions. What is wrong action? Not having integrity of thought, word and action is the wrong action, because you're saying something, you're thinking something and doing something else. I want God, but silently, secretly you're also asking for the world. Such people will not attain it. So you have not desisted, you have not ceased doing the wrong things, it says, the very first step. Then, na ashanto, who are not of peaceful mind. What Narasimhamurti said, 5 minutes can you sit peacefully in one place? No. Immediately your hands go, catch a book, catch your mobile, start thinking or doing something else. 5 minutes we can't focus. Mind is not at peace. A peaceful mind is like a calm ocean. It is settled, like when the flame is burning without any wind. Adi Shankara says that kind of steadiness comes in the mind. Peaceful mind is always a steady mind. Are we having that mind first of all? Why? Because so many desires, one thought after the other, one idea after the other. It doesn't end. So na ashanto, the one who does not have peace. Then na asamahitaha, who is not focused. Not just mind should be pure and peaceful, but it should also be having the capacity to focus on one thing. No, one thought can you keep in your mind for some time without deviation. No, you start analyzing that, then it goes round and round. So asamahitaha. They are not steady. They are not collected. They are not calm. For such people also it is not possible. Then very nice word he says, na ashantamanaso vapi. Just now he said, na shanta. Then ashantamanasa is what? He says the one who is in a hurry to attain realization. That is Adi Shankara's commentary. He says, Ashanta Manasa, who is the person whose mind is not at peace, who starts meditation today and tomorrow expects Brahma Jnana. Like somebody wrote to me, Swami, I have been meditating but I am not experiencing anything. I said, when did you start? How long you meditate? Yesterday I started, I meditated for 20 minutes. And today you want Brahma Jnana. Ashanta Manasaha. These are the people who have no patience on the spiritual path. For everything you are ready to wait. You know, to get a university degree, 15 years of education has to go into it. From schooling to high school to university. For that you are ready to wait for 15 minutes. But somehow this wrong notion that it should come to us just like this. Brahma Jnana should happen to us just like that. No, was there effort? Was there patience on this path? If you did not have, then how? And Bhagavan says 3 P's are there. Purity, patience and perseverance. Purity, I just mentioned, Your thought, word and action are in alignment. You only want God and God alone, nothing else. That clarity is there. You do not engage in any action, duscharitaha or duscharita. You are a person of pure character. Then what happens? That purity leads to that ability to wait for it to happen, patience. Everything happens at the right time. Some people are saying, oh, these many years we have been with you, or we are devotees, it has not yet happened. I said, Janaka was also doing so much of yajna yagas for so many years. Right time has to come for everything. And nobody is delayed or denied on this path. It is everybody's right time, right things happen. That patience, that faith one should have. So that patience is the second step. And third is perseverance. Despite having maintained yourself pure and despite having had your patience, yet you should not give up the pursuit of this path. Oh, it has not happened, I waited for so long. Then that also can lead you astray from this path. That's why perseverance, you must be persevering. Don't give up. Bhagavan would nicely say in a poem, Pattina dedeyo, pattane pattitivi, pattineggedu daka atte undu. Korina dedeyo, korine koritivi, korika challedu daka kolichi undu. Adigina dedeyo, adagane adigitivi, adagina tiidu daka vidavakundu. Talachina dedeyo, talachine talachitivi, talapu teeredu daka taralakundu, he used to say. I say it very nicely. When you hear him speak, he'll be roaring when he tells this poem. What he says is that what you have sought for, what you are seeking, till you get it, don't give up. What you have once decided to achieve, till you achieve it, don't give up. What you have desired for it, that's a good desire. I want God, I want spiritual experience. Till you get it, don't stop putting efforts. Until the door opens, he says. Keep waiting. Don't turn away, oh, we waited long, door did not open, let me go back. No, never go back, he says. Going back is not an option. Bhaktune Diksha Kadu, he said, the true devotee never gives up, never goes back. He will wait, he will die there, but he will not leave. That perseverance one should have in the spiritual path. We don't just attend the Ashtavakra classes, feel very inspired, and then after 3 months, all the inspiration evaporates. We're back in the saddle of the worldliness and riding away from spirituality. That should not happen. That holding on to this is very important. So these are basic disciplines that have to be practiced in order to even reach this space. Because if you na ashanta manaso vapi prajnan enam apnuyat, you cannot teach, this cannot be attained by those who do not have this prajnana or this prajna, this idea of self cannot be taught to these people. Even if you try, whatever you try, they won't learn because they are not interested. There is a story of Narada, the pig, you know that? Yeah, just to wake you all up. Narasimhamurti thinks that you are sitting here out of spiritual discipline, but I know you are sleeping here out of lot of fear. But some fear is good on the spiritual path. Bhagavan also used to say, konchu bhayabhakti undali pillaliku. Little fear and little bhakti, both are important. When bhakti does not work, bhaya should work. When bhaya does not work, bhakti should work. One of the two. But he says daiva priti, daiva bhiti should not be there. You should not be scared of God. Daiva priti, out of love for God, out of devotion you should do, not out of fear. It's for your own good. But then when you are young, you don't appreciate, you don't understand, then some devotion has to be replaced with some bhaya, means some fear of doing wrong. Daiva priti, papa bhiti, sanghaniti. So but it is a lesson. Even if you sit there, something will go inside you, I know. And once a fellow was sleeping in the mandir, Bhagavan was giving discourse. And our warden was getting all tensed up because if somebody sleeps during his discourse, that too in the front row, Narasimhamurti knows what's going to happen. He will not say anything to the boys. He will call the wardens for interview and give them all the prasada that is possible for the day. So wardens will be shivering if some fellow is sleeping, that too in front row. So this fellow was happily sleeping, falling this way, that way, and Bhagavan is giving discourse. You know, I was also thinking that now, sooner or later, the thunder is going to happen. But he patiently finished the discourse. Then the warden was there. Warden, before more damage happens, went up to him and apologized, saying, sorry, he's not well maybe. Kadu kadu parvaledu, pone, let it be. Even if he is sitting here, something is going inside him without his knowledge, he said. Even if he is sleeping, there is some knowledge is going inside involuntarily. Let it be, he said. Ashtavakra himself learned so much in his mother's womb, isn't it? So even if you are present in a good atmosphere, in a positive atmosphere, something good will rub on to you. The doha is there, काजल की कोठी में कितनों ही सयानो जाए, एक peg लागी है तो लागी है, something like that, which means however smart you are, if you enter a room full of charcoal, kajal is not even charcoal, what they apply to the eyes, you see the black thing. If you enter a room full of that, however smart you are, at least even if you try to save yourself, something will definitely rub on to you. At least a little bit of stain will happen to you. Likewise, when you enter a room full of wisdom, even if you decide not to become wise, some wisdom will enter you. That is the power of things, company, sangha. So that sangha is important on the spiritual path. Staying in the company of right people and contemplating on the truth every day, every moment is very important. So that, and then having the patience to wait for it to happen at the right time. You can't hurry it up, you can't rush it. You can't hasten it. It won't work out. You won't understand. Bhagavan also used to say, he was to mention about people who did all kinds of yogas and things like that, that Hatha Yoga is their one. They do all kinds, they force their power, energy, Kundalini, Shakti and all that. And after that they gone mad, they got deranged. They could not contain that, they could not handle it. So he used to tell about people like this who went mad after these siddhis. So he never subscribed or never recommended any of these forced spirituality. Gradual. Shanai hai, shanai hai. Slowly, slowly you should become used to the spiritual knowledge. That is why I mentioned why we started Ashtavakra Gita after 5 years of you reading Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Because some preparation has happened. Directly if I tell you all these things, this is not going to make any sense to you, and even if you may misunderstand, that is worse. But 5 years we have studied Upanishads, we have studied Bhagavad Gita, we have engaged in so many spiritual talks and activities that everybody knows a little or more of these ideas, so it is easy. I'm sure there are those who are very new, they are still struggling with some of these ideas, but they will get over it slowly. In a class there are all kinds of people, but then teacher has to maintain an average pace of teaching for everybody's sake. Some who are lagging behind, they have to put extra effort to catch up. So like that, some people have to put extra effort. But not putting effort and just sitting there thinking something, some magic will happen to me also. For Janaka also it happened like that. No, it's not going to happen. Janaka had prepared himself in all these years of sadhana. So he was very ready in one chapter or whatever. It is just a symbolic way of saying that little he listened to it and immediately he has got enlightened. Somewhere in Ashtavakra, somewhere it says, the one with a sattva buddhi can learn like these things. Yatha tathopadeshena, whatever be the discourse, the teacher is also at fault, not teaching properly, still, krithartha sattva buddhiman, it says. The sattva buddhi person gets it like that. Whereas, ajivamapi jignasu parastatra vimuhyate. Whole life also idle curiosity, the person with idle curiosity doesn't get it, even if he listens to it for the whole life. That's why Ascharyo Vakta, Kushla, Asya Labdha. That is the idea. Both have to be deserving. And this deservedness, that he is of peaceful demeanor, he has given up all wrong things, he has given up all the worldly ideas. He is somebody who is very collected and calm and composed. He has all the patience in the world to wait for it to happen. He is not bothering himself or the teacher. All this has happened to Janaka, and that is why immediately this Jnanodaya is happening to Janaka. That is how it has been taught. And now how he beautifully thinks. He does not think of himself as some petty little body, mind. He thinks of himself as the great self and becomes, in a way, a devotee of himself. He is adoring himself for what he is. Oh, I was so great, means as a self. And then I did not know, and I was living in ignorance. And now that I've realized, I feel so liberated, so happy. I worship myself. People hate themselves. Some people say, I hate myself, I hate myself. I've heard many people say this. And some people say, I love myself because they know their good things. But here is Janaka worshipping himself, adoring himself because of this realization. It's beyond him to have experienced this on his own. And so he's delighted because the reward is much bigger than his efforts so far. So he's extremely delighted. Of course, that has happened because of the grace of the Guru. And now he's able to enjoy that state of absolute peace and bliss. We had done till 11, right? Yeah, we did the 11th shloka. So we will go to the 12th one now, which is on page number 104. Again, he continues to say the same thing in his exclamation. Aho aham namo mahyam eko ham dehavanapi kvachin ganta naganta vyapya vishvam avasthitaha. Aho aham namo mahyam. Oh, the exclamation of joy. I bow down, namo mahyam, I bow down to myself. Myself means the higher self. Because when you want to speak to somebody, you have to still deploy your mind and body. So that is the lower self, you think like that. With using his mind and body, he is singing the glory of his own Atman, his own self. Namo mahyam, I worship myself, I bow down to myself. Ekoham, I am only one. Dehavanapi, even though I have a body, but I am only one. Only what he is saying is that I am not just Janaka trapped in this body, mind. I am that one self which pervades everything. Even though I am identified as one body with a certain name or form, yet I am that same one which permeates everything. That is the idea. My body does not define me anymore. My body is not my identification anymore. So even though I have a body, I still am beyond, I am the same one self which is there in all the bodies, everywhere. And he says, Kvachit na ganta na aganta. Neither I go anywhere nor I come from anywhere. See, Jagat by definition is Jagat, that which comes and goes. He says, I am none of that. I don't come from anywhere, I don't go anywhere. I am always there. Vyapya vishvam avasthitaha, and Vyapya, I am all pervading. In this whole world, Vishwam means everything around me. Avasthitaha, I am in all. I am not somebody who comes and goes. What comes and goes? Our body comes and goes, right? Yesterday we learned from Bhagavad Gita what happens before we are not manifest. Avyakta adini bhutani, vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhanan deva tatraka paridevana, he says. We are unmanifest in the beginning, then we become manifest as the body when we are born to a certain parents in a family, and then we die, and then we seem to have gone away or disappeared. Now he says, I am none of this, because he is saying, first line says, Dehavanapi, though I have a body which is meant to come and go, I am not somebody which comes and goes. I am not somebody. The second line is a continuation of that idea, that since I am not the body, so there is nothing like coming and going for me. I am not part of this Jagat which comes and goes. I am the self which is always there. Like the waves form on the ocean, they come from nowhere, they go nowhere. If you ask one of the waves, where did you come from? Where are you going? What will the wave reply? I don't come and go. I am the ocean. Waves happen on that, but I am always there. So he identifies himself with that water, the self, not with the waves. He identifies himself with the gold and not the bangles. He identifies himself with the space, not the buildings that come and go. So that is the idea which he has already explained in previous shloka, how he thinks of himself. So this is why he says, though I have a body which seems to come and go, I have a date of birth and date of death, yet I am none of these. I am the self which was there before the birth happened, and I am the self which is now, and I will be the self even after this body dies. And I am in everything and everyone. I am not just limited to this body of Janaka, age of Pancha Mahabhutas. At some point in time, I was sitting with Bhagwan and I told, Bhagwan, you are God. So he told me wrong. You know, if he says wrong, it is a huge, it's unacceptable for devotees, right? Because we have been, beating our chests and proclaiming to the whole world, Sai Baba is God, Sai Baba is God, right? And some of them take it so seriously that they pick up fights and arguments with those who do not say Sai Baba is God. I was traveling during my summer holidays, in the train back home, and there were some other students whose parent was also there, and there were other people in the compartment. So we were all talking about Sai Baba. Suddenly, somebody who was not happy with the conversation, because it is an open compartment in the train, everybody hears what you're talking, got irritated and started saying, all these Swamijis are frauds, they are just like that. And so this man got angry and started, and Sai Baba is God. So he almost was on his, neck. Accept Sai Baba is God, or you're done today. That kind of aggression. I am devotee of Sai Baba and I know Sai Baba is God. How dare you say Sai Baba is not God? Let me show you. See, he was really upon him. We all had to pull him back and say that, sir, enough. This way nobody will believe Sai Baba is God if this is how you behave as his devotee. But some people I have seen, some Samiti members and all, oh my goodness, they get so aggressive that to prove that Sai Baba is God. So I was, in some conversation it came up and I was sitting at his feet and I said, Bhagavan, you are God. Sai Baba, he told, no, Sai Baba is not God. God is Sai Baba, he said. Correct your thinking, correct your perspective, he told me. We all want to somehow feel good that Sai Baba, whom we know, who knows us, is the real one God that everybody is looking for. Because as devotees, we feel proud saying such things. But that's also some kind of ego only. But what he told me, Sai Baba is not God. God is Sai Baba. God was there before Sai Baba came. God is there when Sai Baba is there. And God will be there even after Sai Baba is not there. This is what he explained to me. So change your perspective. This mad fanaticism behind name and form is not the right way of looking at me. But look at how many people are trapped in that one thing. No, they are devotees, good devotees, I am not saying. But this whole idea that my Sai Baba only is God. No, God was in continuity. Nirantaram, he says in one place. See, he says, I don't come and go. Bodies come and go. Sai Baba or Sathya Sai Baba or Shirdi Sai Baba or whichever way. There are forms that will come, do the job what needs to be done, and they will leave the scene. But the spirit, Tattvam, what he said, it is always there. But unfortunately, we with our attachments to names and form, that Nama Rupa, we fight. How we have not fought. Yesterday I was talking about all the Middle Eastern countries and so many sects. I believe there are more than 300 sects in Islam. And many of them are at loggerheads with each other. In Hinduism, you see, one day when I was telling about the Sarvadharma concept, one of our professors said, and I was telling Sanathana Dharma is the most, most expansive thought process, philosophy, most very wide, broad-minded, all-inclusive. Then he started saying, how is it true? In Hinduism, there are castes, caste fight against it. I told, Hinduism is one part of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the philosophy of Hinduism, is the ritual part of it. And many other dharmas have come out of Sanatana. Jainism is part of Sanatana Dharma, Buddhism is there. But people have picked certain things, left certain things to create an idea of whatever the religion. So he started saying, look at this. Why this confusion when God is only one? I said, they don't know. Then Shaivites say, my God is the real God. And the Vaishnavites say, my God, Vishnu is the supreme one. Shiva comes. And then there are Puranas to create all the confusion in the world. How Shiva saved Vishnu in his troubled times. Or the Vishnu Purana will say how Vishnu saved Shiva in his troubled times. And both the Puranas will say Brahma doesn't even matter, we chopped off his head. And then suddenly Tripura Sundari will appear saying, none of you, I am the supreme most, the ultimate above all. From my toes only you were born. The Lalita, they will argue. And I was there in one temple, Tenkasi. When the Kashi temple is there, that's called as Dakshina Kasi. I went there, there was one statue of Vishnu, or statue, there was a temple, because it's basically a Shaivite temple. But they have put a Vishnu or Narayana there. Because some point in time, whenever that happened, so they said, no, the king wanted to bring the Shaivites and Vaishnavites together. The Cholas were trying that. So they also put a Vishnu temple on the side of the Shiva temple. So people have fought over names and forms, over bodies. They have killed each other. You have no idea how many fights have happened in India itself. between Hindus. Why? Because I'm Shiva devotee, you are Vishnu devotee, somebody else's devotee. Everybody fought. So also these followers of gurus fight. My guru versus your guru and things like that. These are all illusions only, because they are all attaching themselves to the idea of body and mind. They are not looking at the spirit of it. They are not looking at the tattvam, and that is the confusion in the world. So whenever we get stuck in that nama rupa and forget the asti bhati priyam, all the confusion starts. But then to run an organization, you must have a name, form, somebody leading it. But yes, all that is required. Like to live in the world, you have to have your body, you have to eat your food, do your work, you have to have a mind. Fine, it is only so much that you should give it importance, not beyond that. So when he said, don't say Sai Baba is God, rather say God is Sai Baba, like God is you, he, her, everybody. Then it will be right. Otherwise you are telling it wrongly. But I said, how does it matter? Look at my limitedness. It is the same thing, no. Sai Baba is equal to God, God is equal to Sai Baba. He said, no, it depends on what is on the RHS and what is on the LHS. What is on the right side of the equation, what is on the left hand side of the equation, it matters. Because that can change the whole perspective. The moment you put Sai Baba first and God next, you are trying to eulogize or glorify the idea that Sai Baba as a name and form is very superior. And God is just something happening to him. He said, turn it the other way around. God is equal to Sai Baba is correct. God is equal to you, me, she, he, everybody, everything. That is the idea you should develop, he told me. And then I told this to somebody else also. I said that, this is what he told me. He was also scandalized. He said, how can we, all this while we have been telling Sai Baba is God. I said, we are still telling that. But in a different way. No, that doesn't sound as exciting as... I told him, he didn't come here to excite you and me. He came here to elevate and enlighten you and me. That's what he's trying to do. Breaking all our myths and ideas and allowing us to grow beyond names and forms. So that is the idea. He says, I am though having a body, I am not somebody who comes and goes. Bodies come and go. I am the one self which is permeating the entire universe. That awareness, consciousness, that prajnanam brahma which we say, that is what I am. I am nothing less than that. Therefore I bow down to myself after having realized who I really am. He is in appreciation, he is in wonderment, he is in love or he is in adoration of himself. That I am so. That is so very beautiful. Our scriptures on the body or the idea of body coming going, Krishna has given enough upadesha because Arjuna was so stubborn, did not want to fight the battle. He said, my uncle will die, my cousin will die, my teacher will die. Then he tells him, who is dying, who is not dying. Anyway, everybody dies. Then he gives the whole, and everybody knows Vasansi, Jirnani, Atha, Vihaya. Everybody knows this shloka everywhere. Especially when people are dying on their deathbed, these shlokas are chanted. So that at least towards the end, they will get this feeling that I am not the body and they'll get detached. Otherwise, you have to do 13 days of puja, you know that? Why do we do 13 days of puja and then 13th day Vaikunta Samaradhana? Because the soul is so attached to the body. They say it keeps hovering around the roof of the house, not leaving the place because it wants to somehow enter the body back. That's why we burn the body before the sunset. Because the soul is, the disembodied soul is so uncomfortable without a body. It wants to get back to the body because it doesn't know that it is not body. So it feels it's lost its identity. It's what we call identity crisis now. Who am I? I've left the body behind. Now I'm floating up in the air of the house, near the roof, they say. So don't, and many people tell when you enter these houses also you have to enter with care because this soul can come and catch hold of you. Because it wants somebody to do what it wants to do. It has unfulfilled desires, ambitions. It wants to get back to body. That's why they immediately burn the body in our this thing. So that body itself is not there, half the problem is then. Where will you enter, whom you will enter? Then they start looking for other people to enter into them. These pretatmas. So we do all kinds of pujas. First few days we offer nice foods, what they like and all. They're saying that, see, all this is being offered. We are telling you nicely, please leave, please leave. That's what we do all the pujas for. We are telling you, we are very grateful to you for being our father or grandfather, grandmother, mother, whoever you are. We are very grateful to you for looking after us so far. But now, you should not be here. All of us are doing that, right? Why do we do this puja? To get rid of them only, We are not doing puja so that they continue to hover around the house, haunt us every day and night. Even our most beloved mother, father, we want to get rid of them within that 13 days. Because we don't want them to come back into the body and suffer and make us also suffer. But when we don't do these rituals properly and it has not gone into the head means there is no real head there, but it's not gone into their conscience that I am no more alive as a body. They cannot understand. So finally on the 13th day they say, on 10th day our Yama and his people arrive. If you have done all the Duscharita, then Yama will come, otherwise Vishnu will come or Shiva will come, whoever comes according to your faith. And by 13th day you are done and dusted. Vaikuntha Samadhi, you have gone to Vaikuntha, you are no more on the earth. Because you want to get rid of them. That is why all these things are done. Pindadanas are also performed because they are living in some other Pitruloka. If they are not reborn or they have not attained moksha, they will be suspended in some Pitruloka. And they expect us to still tell them thanks and look after, because they also want to still, they are attached, they want to look after us. So we offer Pindadana, we do, Pitru Paksha Pujas we do. So that if they are dissatisfied, they should not be troubled, they should not come and trouble us. So however dear they are, tell me 1 minute we want to keep the dead body with us. We want to get rid of it. Same body which gave us birth, kept 9 months in the womb and looked after everything from the childhood till the... We want to get rid of that body then and there. Because we all know that body was not the mother. So we want to get rid of the body, but still we want to worship and adore the mother part of it. But we want to get rid of that physical body. That is our way. One more joke I remembered. I think I'm remembering too many jokes. This is just for the students, so that they don't get bored and go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi without any choice. Actually, Tripura Rahasya, Dattatreya explains what is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When some man gets the news of his son's sudden death, young son's death, he is in a state of shock. He has lost his mind, lost thoughts, lost emotions, lost even the body consciousness. That is Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. We all get that. Means that is involuntarily you get into Samadhi. So our children also listening to the discourse, then they get into Samadhi like that. But that is not Samadhi. That is Nidra, Jadya, Nidra. Now what happened, there is one couple who came. They were very orthodox Brahmin. Imagine Tamil Brahmins. And I tell in Tamil Brahmins there are 3 categories. Ayyar and Ayyangar. So these were Ayyangar Brahmins. So they are highly orthodox. Now what they want? They came and told me, Swamiji, all this Pindadana and all is real only, right? We need all this for our moksha. I said, of course, that is why these rituals are there. We have to perform all this. Then they said, our children are all in the US. They don't believe in any of these things. Even if I tell them, please do pujas, do archanas, do your sandhyas, nobody does. I think we have raised them all wrong. I said, maybe you are too overwhelming for them. Some parents do it too much. So children run away because of that high pressure cooker environment at home. They don't like God anymore because they develop some kind of distaste for spiritual activities, rituals, because their parents are so orthodox. They really, push it down their throats and the children run away. And they don't even explain why they are doing half of these things. So children don't like it. So now they are anyway gone to US and finished. Then he said, what will happen to us after we die? Will our children, if they don't perform this Pindadana and all these Pitrapaksha pujas, what will happen to our souls? So they were sincerely worried, both husband and wife. I said, that is a very big trouble, because if they don't do all these pujas as per your whatever requirements, then very difficult. How do we convince them? I said, do one thing, tell them that if you don't do these Pitrupaksha pujas, we will continue to haunt you even after we die. No, Swami, you are joking. I said, no, I am serious. Oh, that's not going to happen. That they are not going to do. So what is the other way out? I told them, attain moksha. In Hindi said, na rahega baas, na bajegi basuri. Your soul only is not, it is merged with the divinity. So why Pitrapaksha, why Pindadana? You are free. Then don't worry whether your children perform pujas or not. That's the right idea. How do we attain that? I told, by following the path, the spiritual path, by contemplating on the truth, by getting rid of all your vasanas and samskaras. Then you can attain liberation. Once you attain liberation, where is the need for anybody to do any puja for you after that, because you are not bound by the idea of body and mind. You are not bound by any relationships. My father, when he passed away, when I say my father, Bhagavan used to be very particular. He will call Graham Abbai, Graham Ammai, because he wanted to distance himself from the idea of father, son and all that. But I mean that, but I do not say it to confuse the children, I do not say. But then whoever gave me birth as a father, when he was in his last moments, he passed away, his body was outside, was to be taken for cremation. I was inside, Bhagavan was there in the subtle form. And then I told him, my father was crying, then I told, I see him crying. So Bhagavan asked me, what does he want? What do you want? So he said, I have not done enough good in my life. I think I wasted this life. I am very regretful. So then Bhagavan said to me, what do you want? What should I do for him? I tell, give him moksha. Because he has haunted me in this life, I do not want him to, not like that. I told him, give him moksha. That is, as a son, that is my prayer. That's what all sons are supposed to give moksha to their father. So please give him moksha. Okay, you say, I'll give him moksha. And then my father was relieved. Then of course the cremation happened. I saw he was as the body was being burnt, cremated. I saw him arise from the pyre in white dhoti and white shirt, bright white. And there was a kind of a aura around him, a little like a luminous aura. And then I saw Bhagavan appear and caught his hand and started lifting him up, and they started going into the sky, up and beyond. He was holding his hand and going, and I am seeing the backside of both. And then Bhagavan turns and gives me a look just to confirm and acknowledge that I am giving him moksha, I am taking him, his soul, and don't worry about him like that. So I was very gratified, I was very grateful that this had happened, that he attained moksha. So next year my mother and brother and everybody on my family said, we have to do puja for your father, because every year we should do whatever on his tithi. So they came and asked, what puja should we do? Bhagavan's answer was, whom are you writing the letter to? The one who has no address, where will you send the letter, he said. He's already attained moksha. What Pitradana, Pitra pujas, what Pindadana for him? He told, there is nothing like that. So we never did puja after that. We never had to do, because he said there is no need for it. You are sending letter to somebody who has no address. So that is the power of liberation. It can happen by your effort, otherwise sincere repentance also can get you that. But we do not know whether we will be able to feel like that. So don't take risk of waiting till the end to repent and regret and then have a compassionate God take you across, or have a good son who will pray for you and do Pitra Pujas and Pindadanas. So don't depend on all that. Attain moksha by your own efforts now and here, so that these problems don't exist after you pass away. That is how those who are ignorant should think. Those who have become jnani, Janaka has become jnani, he is no more attached to the body. He doesn't need Pitrapaksha Pujas and Pindadanas anymore. He is already free. He is a man without an address. That's how I can put it again. So attain your liberation so that you are not a burden on your next generation also. Nobody needs to do any pujas for your peace. You don't have to be going and getting stuck in some Pitraloka and suffering there. No need to do all this. Attain liberation now and here. This is what Janaka is saying. Krishna explains and explains, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. So many things he says in Bhagavad Gita. The soul is immortal. It is untouched by all the elements. Nothing can kill it. Nothing can cut it. Nothing can burn it or wet it. Na kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. Nothing can happen to the soul, the self. That is the idea. Though in Krishna's parallel, that is Jivatma he is talking about. But Jivatma, Jivo Brahmaiva na para, we know by now, right? It is the reflection of the object. So it is not destructible. So Janaka has realized that how happy he is, because he has lost all fear. Biggest fear is bhayam. Bhayam, bhayam, bratuku bhayam. Bhagavan used to sing. Fear, fear, fear of death. All the time it troubles the man. He used to sing like that. So that fear is gone because he has attained that wisdom that I am not the body. Though I am identified with one by the world, though I have a name, a form, an address, an ID card or whatever. But none of this truly define me or identify me. I am the self. And I am just not in this body, I am everywhere. Because I am the self. What a liberating thought. We go to the next sloka. In the same vein, he continues on page number 108. Aho aham namo mahyam. Again the same exclamation. Daksho nastiha matsamaha asansprashya sharirena yena vishvam chiram dhritam. What a beautiful idea. These slokas itself are so elevating. It says again, I bow down to myself. Why this time? Daksho nastiha matsamaha. There is nobody more capable than me as a self. There is nobody more powerful, capable than me. Why? He explains. Asansprishya sharirena yena vishvam chiram dhritam. Without even being touched by my body or without holding anything, the whole Vishwam, this entire universe, chiram dhritam, I am bearing, I am holding, I am sustaining. Chiram, forever. What is saying? Without the touch of my body itself, I am able to bear the weight or whatever, bear the entire universe, sustain it. See, to hold anything or sustain anything, you must hold it like I am holding the book. Now I am bearing the book. If I don't hold it, it will fall. But he says, without even touching anything here with my body, I am sustaining and maintaining and bearing the entire universe. Think of space, the cosmos. So many planets are there. How heavy is Earth? How heavy is Moon? How heavy is Sun? How heavy is Venus, Mercury, and all the galaxies and the universes and multiverses? All of them are sustained where? In the space. Does the space feel the weight of all this? Oh, too much of sun, too much of earth, I can't bear it anymore, I must drop it. Drop it where? It's all space and space and space and more space. This universe is expanding and collapsing. This is going on. Every minute, so much is happening. One galaxy is born, a new universe comes into existence, multiverse theory is now. And all that is sustained within the space, Akasha. And space feels no weight for it. I'm bearing the weight of earth. No, in space everything is existing. And space does not bear any of its weight. Yet it sustains everything. Because space has energy, right? So it keeps the distances correctly between planets and everybody. That is how everything is on track without getting into any accidents. For billions of years they're going round and round and round. And they never clashed with each other. There was never a deviation from their original path. Because that consciousness, the awareness, the self is sustaining all these things. That is the idea. Think of a mirror. In front of a mirror, if I stand, mirror will reflect me. Now 2 people stand, the mirror will reflect 2 people. 100 people stand, it will reflect 100 people. 1,000 people stand, it will reflect 1,000 people. A lakh of people stand, it will reflect all the people. Does the mirror feel the weight of people that it's reflecting? Oh, one person was less weight, 1 lakh people, too much weight for me. Mirror does not feel the weight and the pressure and the idea of bearing. It just bears everything. Yet remains untouched. The word here is asansprishya sharirena. Without being touched, I am holding on to all these things. My true self sustains the entire universe. That cosmic consciousness sustains everything. And I am not burdened by it. I bear it, but I don't feel burden of it. Like the mirror does not feel burden of the reflections that are reflecting in it. Million people also it stands, it reflects everybody without feeling any weight. In the space, billions of galaxies are there. It bears everything but feels no weight. And it is untouched also. Mirror is untouched by the reflection. Reflection does not stick to the mirror, does it? Do these planets or the whole galaxy stick to the space that they are in? No. Space is ever free. I gave the example. Before that, before this Premamrutham hall, this was a football ground. So we would call it football ground. Then we built walls and a roof and call it a hall. Yes, it is called by the name of a hall and no more as a football ground, but the space that it has, that did not get modified. That subtle space I'm talking about, not the volume of this place, not the square feet area. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the idea of the element called space, in which everything exists. It bears everything. yet it remains untouched by all of it. Likewise, myself only is bearing the universe, my body, yet myself is untouched by my own body, by my own thoughts, by my own emotions, or by everything that exists in it. That is the idea. Think of the liberating idea that he is talking about. Little things we do, we feel so burdened. At least when we do for ourselves, we don't feel that burden because when we try to do a little favor for somebody, I have done so much for them. Selfish we are, right? That we think like that, we feel burdened. Give a responsibility, oh, there is too much of work, there is too much of responsibility. Especially if it's something that you don't like to do. It's even more worse. Feels heavier than what it is. Why? Because all the time the identification with our body and mind, which is doing kartasi, bhoktasi. That problem causes the weight, burden, and this sense of pressure. But for the self, there is no pressure, there is no weight, because it doesn't even get entangled or get touched or touches anything. It remains free. That's the idea. Asansparsha. It does not feel the touch of anything. It means it is unaffected. That's the idea. It can do all the things and remain unaffected by it. But without that, none of this will exist. All the galaxies exist in the space. But space does not need the galaxies to exist. All the reflections exist in the mirror. But mirror does not need reflections to exist. Likewise, the self does not need this universe to exist. Self was, is, and will be. The universes come and go, come and go, come and go. Ocean does not need waves to exist. Waves need the ocean, or rather ocean wave both need water to exist. Water has its own independent existence. When it becomes the wave, it is not getting destroyed or created. It was always there. Waves came and went. So water remained untouched by these modifications of waves and things like that. It was always there. Like that, this self, this consciousness is always there. Before you were born, it was there. Today you are here, it is there. Tomorrow you are gone, it is there. And it is not that your consciousness is there. No, same consciousness is there. Don't get into that trap that my consciousness, there is nothing called your consciousness. There is only one consciousness which is there in all of us. Remove the name and form, there is only consciousness. Break the pot, there is only one space. Ghatakasha, Chitakasha, Chidakasha, all the akashas are same. The name and form has created all the confusion, but Janaka has overcome that confusion. He says, I am the same self which bears this entire universe without even being touched by it or without touching it. Means without getting affected or entangled in anything, I exist. The space exists in this room without getting trapped by it. Air may get trapped, but air is the next element I am talking. Space does not get trapped. Like that, this self does not get trapped in bodies and minds. It's the same self which permeates entire universe. That is how we can think broad-mindedly. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means that is what it is. You can accept everybody as your own because you're not seeing names and forms. You're seeing the consciousness that is the substratum on which everything exists. And you are that is what Janaka is telling. Identify yourself with that consciousness and be free. You can never be locked up, you can never be imprisoned, you can never be trapped in these names and forms. Become free, that is the idea. And this is the ability, he says, that daksha. Daksha means some capacity or ability. So imagine my ability. I thought I'm a king, able to just running a kingdom with so much of pressure and temperature every day because something or the other is going wrong. But suddenly I realize I'm the self. What is this kingdom? I can sustain the whole universe. That is what is happening. And with a little kingdom and its daily affairs, I was getting perturbed and agitated and worked up. But no, I'm not like that. I'm so much more capable. This is what, when you run these institutions, people come and tell me. One group came. I think they came for the first time. They never saw and heard anything like that. They were shocked. They said, all this is run. How is it run? All this is such a huge institution. It is free and then you build such institutions and so many people are involved. How it is happening? God does everything. Then telling, don't be modest. Tell us really how do you do it? I said, that is how it is. God does everything. No. That is a very standard answer you'll hear from anybody. But I mean it. No. Don't be modest. No, I do it. I am very intelligent. I'm very smart. Nobody is like me. That's the right answer. What should I tell them? I tell, I don't do it. It happens. It happens as it's supposed to happen. Yes, it doesn't mean I don't put any effort. No, I put efforts. As is designed, I put efforts. Or call this person, invite them, go for this meeting, discuss this topic, correct these issues, set those things right, put rules and regulations, order, and all that I do. But still, I don't feel that I am doing. That's why I don't feel the burden of it. No, I don't feel the burden of it. They don't understand at all, these people, even if I explain. When I told God does it, they're not believing. When I say I do it, I'm super smart, I'm a super human being, an avatar and all that, then, oh yes, that must be the real. They all fall at my feet. But I don't feel the burden of it. See, I feel the hard work in it, definitely body pains when you are traveling long distances in planes, meeting people, working unearthly hours, you're jet lagged, sometimes there are digestion problems, sleep issues are there. This will happen because body and mind go through the vikaras. But do you feel burdened by this whole thing? Do you feel overwhelmed, worked? No. Even when you think that I am happy or I am upset, both do not get associated with me. Why? Because the moment from that external activities I withdraw into the self, there is no burden at all. But because we are engaged in activities, so mind and bodies have to be deployed. Now you are a passenger, I say, in a car and there is a driver. Car is the body, mind is the driver, you are the passenger. If the car is going through some bumpy roads, the passenger will feel it, right? Like that, sometimes I feel the ups and downs, jerks and, bumps and jumps, as they say. But that does not change my nature. That does not stop me from being what I am. A few setbacks, disappointments, few things that go wrong or some things that go right, none of these define who I am. That is the idea. That I can bear the entire universe, yet not feel the burden of it and not be touched or affected by it. Nor I need to touch and affect anything. I am just I am. And everything will happen. This is the idea. But in the beginning, when this mission had started, I used to get so worked up because it was so difficult. And so I used to tell, what is this you have put me on? And he would say, you be selfless. That's enough. Everything will happen. Because that time, had he told you attain the state of Sahaja Samadhi or Jivana Mukti, then everything will happen, then I wouldn't have understood. I was too young to understand those things. That time he said, just be selfless, everything will happen. As long as you're selfless, everything will happen. What he actually meant, as long as you're established in that self, the supreme consciousness, you don't feel the burden of doership or the enjoyership, things will happen as they are meant to happen. It is our doership, enjoyership, which interferes with it. Like the clouds that evaporate, that form because of the evaporation of water from the river caused by the sun. They hide the sun. Like that, this Maya also is created by the same, mind is creation of self only. But then it affects the self if you allow it to interfere. So that is the idea, that he bears, he says, I am the universe, I sustain everything. I was so far thinking I am a king and hardly I was able to manage a kingdom properly. I used to feel burdened and agitated. But now I realize all that was illusion. Because I associated myself with the body and the mind and this idea that I am the king of such a kingdom and all this is my headache and responsibility, I suffered. Now karta, bhokta, all that is gone. Dharma, dharma, sukha, dukkha, all these concepts have evaporated from my mind. I feel free. So as it comes, I will do what it comes, it will do. A lot of, actually, this chapter is all this glorifying the self. After that, such practical tips start in the Ashtavakra Gita. How do you really live? What is the state of your mind? How do you behave? How do you act in circumstances? Wonderful tips start coming from the coming chapters. Practically. And I have benefited so much from it. Because anytime I am in some confusion or I'm not able to think properly, I'll just repeat the shloka to myself. It will enlighten the entire thinking. Very quickly it will give you the answers. It has very good few shlokas in the coming chapters. But here it says, asansprashya sharirena, without being touched by anything or without touching anything, I sustain. There's a beautiful shloka in Mandukya Karika by Gaudapada, which talks about asparsha nama yoga. It says, I have written down here for those, asparsha yogo vai nama durdasham sarva yogi bihi yogino bibhyanti hi asmad abhaye bhaya darshinaha. It's not written in the book, I am just chanting for my notes. This is what I am saying. Search in the wrong place and you will never get it. Ignorance. The shloka is very beautiful, just for cross-referencing and the joy of it I'm reading. Asparsha yogo vai nama. The yoga of the self. Yoga is yuj, to connect, to yoke, to merge. What is the yoga of the self when you merge yourself in the self? It's called asparsha yoga. It is yoga without being touched or without touching anything. Untouched yoga. It's called asparsha yoga, Mandukya Karika says. And durdasham sarva yogi bhi. And it is very difficult for all kinds of yogis. Karma yogis, bhakti yogis, jnana yogis, hatha yogis, raja yogis. They find this asparsha yoga is very difficult yoga. All other yogas are easier only. Hang upside down, stand on one leg, chant this many times, go to these many pilgrimages, perform these many rituals, do this much of pranayama. All these are easy yogas. What is difficult? Asparsha yoga, he says. A new yoga, where you should not be affected or touched by anything. That is asparsha yoga. Durdasham sarva yogi bihi. All the yogis find it very difficult to perform. Then he says, yogino bibhyati hi asmad. All the yogis of all other kind that I just mentioned, those who call themselves yogi, these, karma yogi, jnana yogi, bhakti yogi, all these yogis, they are scared of it, it says. Bibhyati. They are scared of it because asmat bhaye abhaye bhayadarshinaha. What is fearless, they are afraid of it. They see fear in it. What it means is that, see, all other yogas are easy to do. If I tell you chant 1008 times Sai Ram, Sai Ram, it is easy. If I tell you go do service in the hospital to the poor and the karma yoga, it is easy. If I tell you, okay, even meditate for 1 hour, sit in one place without moving an inch, it is also easy, though it sounds difficult. Or I tell you to do some penance and austerities, go up the Himalayas and do all these hatha yogas, that is also easy. What is not easy? To remain unaffected and untouched. That is most difficult. That is asparsha yoga, Mandukya. He says that is asparsha yoga. Remaining untouched by, because yogis develop some arrogance, sometimes it happens. Pure yogis won't do that. But he's comparing with those who are having that kind of idea that by doing this I'll attain that, that kind of idea of yoga. Because asparsha yoga means there is nothing to attain, there is nothing that you have not attained. You are free. To be detached is the most difficult part of the life. To remain unaffected, unattached, that is the most difficult yoga. All other activity-based yogas are much easier. This is what he says. There is a story from Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's stories. It seems there was one yogi who had developed the power to walk on water. These siddhis are there. Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Garima, all these kind of siddhis. So this fellow could become so light that he could just walk on water or float on water. So it seems Sri Ramakrishna was sitting with his disciples and talking to them, while this yogi, just to demonstrate his prowess, from the other side of the river started walking on the river and came. Ramakrishna did notice, people did notice, but he did not bother to pay attention and continued his talking. The yogi felt a little offended and he came to this side, it seems, and I'm here like that, announced his presence. And then Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa acknowledged that he's here, and then the yogis tried to, prove to the people, thinking that they don't know what I know. So they said, did you see how I came? They said, how did you come? I came walking on water. Did you see that? I am a great yogi like that. So Sri Ramakrishna asked, how much time did it take for you to develop this power to walk on water? He said, 25 years of my tapasya, I learned to walk on water. He said, you could have given 25 paise to the boatman, he would have brought you here. You wasted 25 years of your life doing something which is not even worth it. Ramakrishna is asparsha yoga, asparsha yogi. He is untouched by these ideas of achievements of some yogic powers. Other fools get entangled in these things. This siddhi, that power, and they feel they have achieved something. But they do not achieve anything. Because they wasted so much time doing something which is not worth, it's not going to help you at the end. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrun karne. So all these other kinds of yogas that people are so proud and so capable of, that is nothing compared to asparsha yoga. And people fool themselves doing all kinds of yoga because they are incapable of asparsha yoga. That is why they are scared of this yoga called asparsha yoga. That is the way of saying that people are so entangled and engrossed in all these silly, petty things because they feel they are somehow growing spiritually. But none of this is spirituality. The spirituality is this being able to stay unattached in all situations. That is spirituality. That if you have not attained, what is the point in attaining all these things? It is of no use at the end. That is what he is saying. I have met yogis, some of the yogis, they're so, I'm not saying arrogant, but they're so proud of themselves. Again, another story, in 2013, I went to Badrinath. And just very interesting story. All this I've written in the book, but because a lot of people are new. I went to Badrinath because Bhagavan told me that time, go to Badrinath. And there you will meet a very old yogi, he said. How old? Hundreds years, he told. I told, my God, this is going to be something very amazing. Hundreds and hundreds of years old yogi I'm going to meet. Because I've heard about these people living in Himalayas where they've lived for, nobody knows their age. They have these powers to sustain themselves on water, air, and don't bother. In fact, one taught me a kriya called Khechari kriya. It's a kriya where you turn your tongue inside and touch your gullet, and then some secretion happens, and that comes from your Brahmarandhra, it seems, and that sustains you. You don't need another food or anything to sustain the body. So these yogis perform those kind of kriya, and then they survive in the Himalayas, and they live forever. They are, sankalpa siddha. So they decide when to leave the body or not to leave the body. Nobody can tell them. So I thought I'm going to meet some real senior old yogi, and it'll be very fascinating. Then he asked me, you just carry a blanket with you. I thought that is understandable because they won't accept anything else. But blanket may be useful in Himalayas, they're roaming, they can at least wrap it around. So I was very excited, and 3-4 of us had gone to Badrinath. And the previous day, we reached Badrinath. The next morning I must go to the prayer. But previous evening, we just went to the temple, and in the corner of the temple, in the premises of the temple inside, there were people doing bhajans and things like that. So I also went and sat behind along with all that. That time I could go anywhere. I was not, that's why no Nama Rupa was not there. Only Asti Bhati Priyam was there. Nobody knew who I was. What a freedom, what a free life that was. So I just sat there in the temple corridors, sitting next to one person who was playing dolak, and in North Indian style, loud and bold singing. I was enjoying that evening, and then suddenly I saw one man came. No, that's not that time. That time the people were singing, and then Bhagavan came and told me that tomorrow morning come here only, the same place, and you will see the yogi. By 7 o'clock you will see the yogi. I said, okay, I was very ready, and there was a Shankaracharya Murti was also there. He said, just next to that you come and wait. I said, okay. Then as we were going, one man came, young man, black beard, orange robe, tied a kafni-like thing on the head, and he came and sat there. And then something told me that he is the yogi. But I said, no, Bhagavan said that one old man will come, which is very hundreds of years old. So I rejected the idea. When we came out, it so happened that one of our group mate also had met him in the afternoon and given him a lift to Badrinath. And he asked him, you have come to Badrinath, why did you come? He said, Badri Vishal called me, so I have come. That's all is the answer. Now you can't question them, how did he call you? Badri Vishal is not here physically, but they are yogis, so we keep quiet. So that happened. So he told me, this man I saw in the afternoon day, he asked me for a lift near Hanuman Chatti. I said, okay. Then I also thought this man is the same yogi, but then I rejected the thought. Then we gave him some food that evening because we were all going to eat food, so I gave him a parcel. He accepted it and went. Next morning, we went at 5 o'clock, did our pujas and all that stuff. We got a very good opportunity, sat there and there is a Veda puja is there. So you can chant. So we sat and chanted even whole Narayana Suktam. The priests were kind to make us sit there and allow. So all that happened. Then we came to the same place, next to Adi Shankaracharya statue. And I was waiting for this yogi to come. And waiting, 7, just it's going to be 7. Just as it was going to be 7, this young man came and sat there next to the Shankaracharya statue. I thought there is an old yogi going to come, but this is a young man. So I did not get up from my place. I was sitting there thinking, waiting for the old yogi to come. But nobody came. 5-10 minutes passed. And that man started getting up. Then I got worried. Who knows, he might be the one because I have gut feeling from yesterday. So then I went and approached him and told him, see, are you such and such person? I told a name. He was surprised. He said, how do you know my name? I said, I know Sathya Sai Baba, you know. Oh, he passed away recently. I said, yes, but he is always there. He told me that such a yogi will come and sit here and you have to meet him. And his name is this. So he said, yes, this is the name by which I am known in this region of Himalayas. But what did he tell you? I said, he told me that he is going to send me to meet you and you should give him some prasadam. Then I took out the blankets and he told, no, I don't accept anything. I said, but since he has given, please take it. Then a little conversation happened which was very deep and very personal to him. And he was in tears. And then he said, folding hands in front of me, I felt embarrassed because I was just like a boy and he was anyway dressed in ochre and all that. He folded his hand, you have attained such great heights. I have been here in Himalayas for so many years doing tapas and sadhana, but you people are living there in the world and you have attained greater spiritual heights. Like that he mentioned, which it did not occur to me that time because we were not used to some conversation like that. And then he accepted all the prasadam and everything. But then I asked in myself, he doesn't look like hundreds of years old. I had an imagination. But he was not like that. And he was actually probably my age or maybe a little older than me. So then anyway, we said our greetings and we walked away. Then I asked Bhagavan, he was not looking like hundreds years old. He told, you are assessing the age of the body. That is why you think he is just 50 years old or something. But I know his soul. From how many births he is there in Himalayas, coming back again and again. And when I asked him for his details, he didn't give any details at all. I asked him, so how can we contact you again? He said, this time Badri Vishal called me, Sai Baba called you. Next time also they only will call us if we have to meet. And he walked away. Anyway, they don't carry phone numbers and other things. He didn't want also my phone number or details. He told Badri Vishal appeared to me and told me go to on such and such date at such and such time go and sit there behind the temple near the Shankaracharya statue. And here Bhagavan tells me go and sit there near the Shankaracharya statue at the same time. And he told, he was in tears, he's saying Badri Vishal and Baba must have spoken, he said, in his own way. But what surprised me is that he was so young and not old. I thought I will get a nice picture with some real old sadhu and things like that. But he was not even like somebody I could go and... He was like anybody walking around there. There are plenty of them. So this is the idea. What I'm saying is that the body of this man was young, 50, 55 years old maybe. But the soul of it is, or the self which is ageless. Ageless. When once in Kodaikanal, there's one lady by name Ratan Lal. I don't know how many of you know, but she was somebody who used to cook for Bhagavan and look after his personal things. And from years they were serving. One day he asked, what is your age? They're same age. So he asked, what is your age? Or something like that. So then he said, Bhagavan, what is your age? Then Bhagavan asked, what is my age? Then she said, so many years. That time he was, whatever, 80 or 78 years or something. Then he said, that is the age of the body. What is my age? He asked. That is the age of my body. What is my age? I am ageless. That's what he said. That is the age of the body. I am ageless. See, very clear. But just a conversation to drive home a point. This whole idea that I am the body and the mind and then I am aging and I am going to be old and then I will die and this will happen, that will happen. All this is imagination. Though it appears real, like a dream world that appears real, but the self, the one who knows the self, he is untouched by all these vikaras, the Shad vikaras. The Bhagavan untouched by his physical whatever changes. Untouched. He said, I am ageless. I am very clear I am ageless. Body has an age, you celebrate a birthday of the body or death day of a body, that is a different matter. I am ageless. This idea, the one, he is untouched by anything of the world. The biggest two events in our lives are birth and death. Untouched by any of these things means you are truly a dispassionate one, right? But only a jnani can be like this. Only a real yogi can be like this. Asparsha yogi can be like this. All other yogis cannot be this. That's what it is just a way of saying that don't get stuck in these little achievements on spiritual paths. Many people used to tell, even some boys used to say, Swami, teach me how can I read people's mind. I said, you think I have learnt it and I am reading people's mind, that's my hobby or habit? None of it. If I need to know something, I get to know. If I don't need to know, I don't get to know. I am not interested in knowing what's going on in your head or in somebody's head. Many people bother me like this. I tell them, why you are interested in all this? I am teaching you about self, that is you are not interested in. You are interested in all these silly petty things. Because they feel good about it. Now, how many of these self-proclaimed YouTuber yogis have come? They learn a little here and there, and then they open a YouTube vlog and start off. I look at them and say, forget about you falling in the ditch. You are carrying so many and put every andhe naiva niyamana yathandaha. You know little and you think you can guide them. Okay, at best you can explain a shloka very well. But do you have the experience to pass on that experience to the next person? You don't have command over your subject. You are just having a borrowed knowledge from books or some listener. Just because you are a good orator does not make you a teacher. You should have the experience on your side to be a teacher. This borrowed knowledge is very shallow. All these types of yogas I've heard and so many people giving lectures and talks, I only tell them, as long as they're humble and say, see, I don't know of it, yet I am just explaining to you, if it helps you, I'll be happy. That is still okay. But assuming is not okay. And the biggest test of the, whatever taste of the pudding is, are you unattached in every situation? Asparsha yogaha. That is what Janaka says. I am untouched. I don't touch anything, nothing touches me, yet I sustain the entire universe. That is how we sustain these institutions. That is how we sustain everything. Why? Untouched by its gains or pains. Untouched by the losses. Many times people ask, what will happen to us? I said, I also don't know. No, don't tell us. If you also don't know, then what will happen to us? I said, but the truth is truth. What needs to happen will happen. No, but so many people, actually, if God is there, divine is there, whatever is supposed to happen will happen. Who am I or you to interfere with that? We shall just do what we have got to do. And if every day you do, that is why when this 100th cultural festival thing we told, our people were all very tense because they say 100 countries, how many visas, how much travel arrangement, how much logistics, how many permissions, then getting artists every day. It's not like you're calling them from Chikbalapur or Bangalore. They're coming from other countries. They have to appoint. How do we do? I told the same thing. One day at a time. Don't get overworked. One day at a time. Take one day at a time. One by, it will get open. You see a long road ahead and sit down here saying, oh, how do we walk? One step at a time we walk. Asparsha yoga, that is. Untouched by the, whatever, the size and the scale of everything. You just do one thing at a time. And do it well. Do it with all your heart in it. I am teaching today. Whether I will be here tomorrow to teach or not, who knows? If it's meant to be, it will happen. If it's not meant to be, it won't happen. World won't become any richer or lesser by you and me. It was always full. By one wave disappearing from the ocean is not going to make the ocean less or more. That idea is so important to always keep in mind, bear in mind. Then you will not be affected by all these ups and downs of samsara. My, I, mine, these are the problems. The moment you think I, mine, you're done. The body, mind, you're done. That is the trap. If you can grow beyond it, that is when you are, luckily I have written this on 91st page, but you can later refer. On 91 page, this shloka is there, Asparsha Nama Yoga, whatever. You can read it for yourself as a part of the Mandukya Karika. Where are we? Now we are, yeah. So we finished the shloka number 13th. I'll go to the shloka number 14th. It says again in the same thing, Aho aham namo mahyam. It's on page number 115. Aho aham namo mahyam yasya me nasti kinchana athva yasya me sarvam yadvang manasagocharam. Again another concept, wonderful concept. He says again, I bow down to myself, the higher self, in which to yasya, of whom nothing exists. Means I am not attached to the body part of it. That's what again he says. Yasya me nasti kinchana. In the self that I am, nothing exists. Or athva yasya me sarvam, in which everything exists. Yat vang manasa gocharam. Whatever is heard or spoken about or understood by the mind, everything exists in me or nothing exists in me, he says. See, very paradoxical. You'll have to take some time to understand that. One side he says, I am that great self in which nothing exists. I alone exist. Or everything exists in me only. Think of a dream and a dreamer again, as I last time we discussed. I am dreaming now. In my dream, a world has been created. A lot of people have appeared. Buildings have appeared. Cars, roads, birds, sunrise, sunset, good, bad, happy, sad. Everything is happening. Where is this dream existing? In whom is this dream existing? It's existing in the dreamer. But is the dream real? Does it even really exist? No. So that is what he is telling. I am that same self in which either nothing exists or everything exists in me. Got the point? As a dreamer, the dream exists in me. What he says, yat vang manasa gocharam, whatever my words or my mind, it means all my senses can experience, all that exists in me only. It doesn't exist outside me, because I am the self which permeates everything. Like I am the dreamer. In my dream exists all the things. Whatever is experienced in the dream, everything is existing in myself only. Or think that nothing exists because dream is not real. So it does not exist in me. I alone exist. Because dream is not real. So that is how you have to look at the world. That the whole world is real, it exists in me. Everything is a reflection of Brahman. Everything is Brahman and it exists as Brahman. Not only in Brahman, it is as Brahman, it is existing. Everything. Or because they are different from Brahman, they are a modification or vikara of Brahman, so none of this is real, like dream is not real. So live in the world unattached. How to remain unattached is what he is explaining. Asparsha yoga, how do you practice? Some people say, somebody asked me, I said, either you believe everybody belongs to you or you believe nobody belongs to you. There are only two ways of looking at your relationships. Either nobody belongs to you, you become a sannyasi, you are free. Or you become a jnani and say everybody belongs to me. Both way you are free. Where is the problem? Some people belong to me, some people don't belong to me. That is where the problem starts. Believe everybody is yours, love everybody equally, you are free. Because you are not attached to one person and suffer because that person suffers. Either you suffer with the whole world, you rejoice with the whole world. Both are okay. Or think everything is a dream, none of this is real, I am not attached to anybody, nobody belongs to me, I belong to none, I am ever free and alone. That is also a way of freedom. But what? This is my son, that is my daughter, this is my wife, that is my uncle, this is my friend, those are my cousins, they belong to me, I belong to them. Rest of the world I don't know about. Then we get bound and trapped in this I and mine. So this is something similar to what Janaka says, I am the self in which everything exists or nothing exists. Nothing exists because in a dream what is real? Nothing is real, so nothing exists in reality. Or if you think the dream is also a part of me only because it has come out of me, then all that exists in me only. Both ways you are liberated. When you only think of things in halfway, like some exist in me, some do not exist in me, some are only mine, some others are not mine, then the bondage happens, bandha happens. Otherwise you are free. That is why I say, expand your heart so much that it has the space for everybody. All you love equally. No more somebody less to somebody else. No. Everybody becomes your. When somebody asks, why I am not able to pray for other people's children the same way as I pray for mine? Somebody is suffering. I do lip service, samasta loka sukhna bhavantu, but I don't feel it. When my mother is sick, Swami, please cure my mother, take care of my mother. How much intensity is there in that prayer? Why? Because you feel mother is yours, others are not yours. That is then how Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam will happen. Ayam nijaha paroveti ganana lagu chetasam udar charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Everything is divine, perfect. Nothing is divine, everything is illusion, only oneself is real. That's also perfect. Either or. Half away is the confusion. So that is what he is saying. Either everything exists in me or nothing exists in me. Means I am ever free. I am ever free. I am ever free. The idea is of freedom. He goes on, says. Some people say, no, like in some philosophies, they say there is nothing at the end. We in Hindu philosophy, we feel that we will realize Brahman exists. But because Brahman is not a quantifiable thing, we cannot prove its existence by empirical means. So in some philosophies, they believe nothing exists. At the end, it's shunya. They are called shunyavadis. Everything is zero. At the end, you attain whatever moksha, nirvana. And what do you experience after that? Nothing. A cessation of sorrow is the end of your journey. That's all is their philosophy. This world is full of sorrow. To get rid of sorrow, you have to get rid of desire. At the end of it all, what do you get? What is the falashruti? What is that I am going to get out of it? No sorrow at the end. That's all you will get out of it. What about ananda? Anando Brahmeti Vyajan. No Ananda also will be there, they say. No sorrow is equal to Ananda. Think like that. That is one philosophy. They say nothing exists at the end. And they also believe and very, sincerely work towards that goal of attaining that state where there is no sorrow, and that they consider as nirvana, moksha, liberation, whichever name you put it. But they consider there is nothing at the end. Whereas we say as Sanatana Dharma, Brahman is there at the end of it all. Why end? He is there in the beginning, he is there in the middle, every time, everywhere. That is far more, I feel, as a positive idea, because our mind needs motivation. If you say after doing all these things, nothing will be there at the end, it looks little demotivating. But Sanatana Dharma says Brahman is there. And a beautiful shloka comes from Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's there in the next page or somewhere I've written. I don't know. It's in the next page. First paragraph I just mentioned. From Hatha Yoga Pradipika it says, Anta Purno Bahi Purna Purna Kumbha Ivarnave. It means when a pot is dipped into the ocean, it becomes full. Inside also it is full, outside also it is full. Outside also water, inside also is water. Or if you keep the pot in empty space, just the next page, the first top paragraph, there is no shloka, it's written in English as an explanation. So it says, inside also there is air, outside also there is air. Both are, the pot is empty. Idea is that you can look at a pot as full when you dip it into the water. There is water inside, water outside. And if you leave it in the air, there is air outside and air inside. So somebody will say pot is empty when it is in the air, in the space. But it is, or somebody who fills it with water, they think there is water in the pot. Both are perceptions is what is saying. Shunyavadi says there is nothing. And Brahmavadi say there is Brahman at the end of it. Glass is half full or half empty. That is the dilemma. Somebody who wants to look at the empty part of it says this glass is half empty. He is right too. Somebody will say glass is half full. He is right too. But what is the better way of looking at, you tell me? It feels good if you say glass is half full. Like that Sanatana Dharma says there is Brahman. It's not void. It is not emptiness. Like yesterday, loneliness. It is not loneliness. It is there, it's full, it's full. Purna madaha, purna midam, purnat, purna mudachyate. Our philosophy says everything is completely filled with that Brahman. No reduction, no additions to it. No modifications also actually. Brahman alone is. That idea is very beautiful. It gives you a courage and a motivation to pursue it. At the end of it, there is nothing. One monk met me in Singapore. And he did not believe all these things, whatever I am saying. So at the end of it, after listening to the discourse, he was very impressed. Then he came and said, I want 5-10 minutes from you. I have some doubts. Because he was a monk, I had to respect that. I said, okay, please come. And then I met him. He said, see, in our philosophy, we don't believe that anything exists. We don't believe in God. We don't believe in Brahman, either Sakara, Nirakara, no God. We don't believe in this. But your philosophy, you say everything is there, God is in everything. It feels very good to me. Though I am practicing this one, but I feel like practicing what you are saying because it feels good. I said it is good, that is why you feel good. We want something at the end of it. You can't say there is nothing at the end of it. All you can get is no sorrow. But no happiness also, they say. I say no, it's a state of beyond happiness and sorrows. Ananda. Nanda, Ananda, Ananda. It is a different state of existence. It's not boring, it's not dull, it is not loneliness, it is not drab, like how it has been projected, spirituality. It is a state of existence which is to be experienced. Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. You have to experience it to know what it is like. And there is no negative thinking there, there is no limitedness there, there is infinity, expanse. Yes, dukkha nivritti will happen, sukha prapti also will happen, but beyond dukkha sukha you go up further to the state of sthita prajna. That is even better. Our philosophy says that. He was very touched. He said, unfortunately in our system they don't teach this. And if we try to subscribe to something like this, we will be called heretics. So we can't even subscribe. I said, then when your heart says what is true, then you should follow. Now what is the use of all these other yogas? Asparsha yoga you should follow. Why you are getting attached to ideas? When your heart does not agree, why you are following things? Heart should say it is right and then follow. How does it matter who's teaching you, where you are learning? Or how does it matter what you have learned so far? If it is all wrong, then change it now. So this is what I was telling. That see, we need motivation. We must feel that at the end of it there is something. And that something is that state of Brahman, Brahmasthiti, which is ultimate, which is beautiful. That is very important. So here he is saying that everything is me, that is the one realization you will get, or nothing is me, you will get a realization. But I say everything is me is a nicer realization. This whole confusion of Brahma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya, people read the first part of it and then say everything is Maya, everything is this. When they don't want to do anything, they give this excuse. But the other side is Brahma Satyam, Jagat Satyam also, or Jiva Brahmaiva. Jiva also is Brahman, so everything is Brahman, Sarvam Brahmamayam, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. That is a better philosophy, right? That feels good. So think like that. But Janaka is right in both ways. Half full, half empty, both are right. But I say all are ours, love everybody. That is a nicer feeling than nobody is ours, I am nobody, everything is Maya. That is a little more, dry feeling. But spirituality is a very beautiful thing. Like Raso Vaisaha, Rasa is there in spirituality. There is beauty, there is Satya, Shivam, Sundaram is there, Sat, Chit, Ananda is there. So we have to experience that. That is what it is, that when duality ceases, all this confusion will disappear. If I explain, you will not understand, but this is what it is. So one person asked me, Swami, if I become Jnani, no Papa will come to me, right? I said, of course, no Papa will come to you, because you will not be capable of doing any Papa. But no Punya also will come to you, I said. Oh, that is bad. I don't want Papa, but I need some Punya. I said, either or, this is binary. Yes, you will not get any debits, in the sense you will not get blamed for whatever goes wrong. But you will also not be praised for whatever goes right. Both are not allowed. You want half of it and the other half you do not want, doesn't work like that. Spirituality means either or. Either everybody is mine and nobody is mine. Either everything is Brahman or nothing is Brahman, everything is Maya. One of the two. You can't have half of it. So live your life like this, with this completeness of understanding. But as I said, how much ever I explain, unless you go and yes, theoretically, intellectually, all this is very good and nice to understand. Your experience comes from purity, unity, purity, divinity. So if you are really, really bothered about your spiritual progress, and that's the only thing in your mind, like the man's hair, the man whose hair has caught fire, can't think of anything other than water. Likewise, that burning tapas is there. Unless that is there, there is no progress on this path. You must develop that, even if you don't develop realization, at least develop that burning desire for realization. If we have achieved that through this Ashtavakra Gita, I think we still have achieved something. If that burning desire is also not happening, it's just a nice intellectual exercise, good food, nice place, escape from all the worldly issues and problems, nice atmosphere. That is not the reason why Ashtavakra has been organized. It's been organized to create mumukshutva in everybody. And not ordinary mumukshutva, tivra mumukshutva. Shankaracharya says, tivra, it should be intense, not ordinary, not some lukewarm, burning. Then you will put efforts on this path. Naturally, you will discard all that which is not useful on this path, and you will only hold on to what is right. See, after all these things also, you still entangled in attachments of I, me, mine, us versus them. Then we have not achieved anything. So to expand your heart to either express your love for everyone as your own, as everything is divinity, or become so withdrawn that nothing matters to you, nobody, because everything is Maya. Then your body also should not matter to you. Nothing should matter to you at the end. So both, between the two you choose a path. My path is, think everything is Brahman. See the Brahman in everything. Pratibodha viditam matam. Everything you see is Brahman. When I walk, I see a flower, and those who are in Kodai, they all know how much fuss I made out of one dahlia flower. Every day I'll walk down the path and there's this dahlia. It was so beautiful. Satyam Shivam Sundaram means that. I could see the face of God in that little dahlia. Not little, quite a big size it was. Red colored. It was perfect. And this perfection is God, perfection is beauty, perfection is joy. In that dahlia I saw the presence of God because it was so perfect. And every day I'll walk, I look forward to walking down the path to go to the hall, bhajan hall, because on the way these dahlias were there. And that one particular red dahlia, it would just draw me towards itself, and I would spend a few seconds watching it, just experiencing the bliss of watching something so perfect. And then by the end of so it must have bloomed just in time for us, our Kodai trip. And by the end of the Kodai trip, it was withering away. Another great lesson I learned. See, it came, bloomed, gave joy to everybody who came across that dahlia. Everybody felt so blissful and joyful. It did its job, but it never insisted that I shall stay on. Just because I am getting so much of adoration, love and veneration, I shall stay on. I don't want to wither, I don't want to die, I don't want to leave this place. No. When the time came towards the end of our collective, petal by petal, it was disintegrating. And I watched that, how naturally it happened. It never cried, complained. It never wanted to stay 1 minute longer than what it was meant to. It was okay. All the world's a stage, all men and women merely players. They all have their exits and entrances. So beautiful. The Dahlia itself taught me a great lesson. Those 10 days I really rejoiced in the idea of the Dahlia and its detached service to the people. It bloomed and it withered and had no complaints about either. But while it stayed, it gave so much of joy to everybody. Become like that, I say. God has sent us on this earth. We have a purpose. Purpose is to give joy to each other. Give that bliss to each other. Our life should be a joyful existence. At the end of it, when the time is over and it has to fade away, it will go away. It does not ask for a little 1 day, 2 day extension or 1 year extension. It doesn't ask. It just does its job, disappears. But has left behind so much of joy. Yeah, there are a bunch of them, but the one which I am holding, the reddish one, it has got one white petal, very strangely. That Dahlia. So be like the Dahlia is what I told all the people who came to Kodai. That just bloom for the joy of God, for the joy of people, and for the joy of blooming. And then when it's time to leave, leave with dignity, leave with detachment. No insistence on going longer than what you are meant to be. How beautiful the life will be. That is Asparsha Yoga. That is the yoga that we must all practice. Detachment is the yoga. We will listen to one bhajan before we close. It's from a great, great yogi, Gana yogi. His name is Panchakshari Gavai, and he was born blind. And he and his brother both would go village to village, seeing the glory of God, collect a little bit of donations, and with that he built a school in Gadag. And he sheltered a lot of other differently abled children who were not able to see or things like that, gave them free education, free residence, and taught them Sangeeta. Till his end he did that. And till now also the institute is there. And those who know Pandit Venkatesh Kumarji, who comes and sings, he was a student there because though he is not differently able, but he was very poor. So even housed and sheltered poor people, every day he'll go sing, conduct kacheris and such kind of activities and collect donations, and with that he will raise these children. Though he was born blind, yet he did this much. So this is his composition, which is very beautiful, which says that, you need to have jnana to truly appreciate everything. Just Guru is there, or Linga is there, or Jangam is there, that is this company of good people. Unless jnana happens in you, all these three they have not found their fulfillment. And that jnanodaya is important. That is what we are trying to light, that flame of wisdom. We have got the wick, we have got the oil, we have got the lamp also. We are waiting for that one flash, one strike of the matchstick for the jnana to happen. That is what the song is about. You sing and then we'll close.
ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸದು ಗುರುಲಿಂಗ ಜಂಗಮ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಗುರುಲಿಂಗ ಜಂಗಮ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಗುರುಲಿಂಗ ಜಂಗಮ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸದು ದಾಸೋಹವ ಮಾಡದೆ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ದಾಸೋಹದ ಭಾವದ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೋಹಂ ಎಂಬ ಮಂತ್ರದ ಜ್ಞಾನವಾಗಲಾರದು ದಾಸೋಹದ ಭಾವದ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೋಹಂ ಎಂಬ ಮಂತ್ರದ ಜ್ಞಾನವಾಗಲಾರದು ಗುರುಕುಮಾರ ಗುರುಕುಮಾರ ಪಂಚಾಕ್ಷರೇಶ್ವರ ಗುರುಕುಮಾರ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸದು ದಾಸೋಹದ ಭಾವದ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೋಹಂ ಎಂಬ ಮಂತ್ರದ ಜ್ಞಾನವಾಗಲಾರದು ಗಾಮದ गा गुरुकुमार पंचाक्षरेश्वर गुरुकुमार पंचाक्षरेश्वर गुरुकुमार पंचाक्षरेश्वर भक्ति प्रणति इद्धरेनो ज्योति मुक्तदे दीपविंदे सदो गुरुलिंग जंगमा इद्धरेनो गुरुलिंग जंगमा इद्धरेनो ज्ञानविಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಗುರುಲಿಂಗ ಜಂಗಮ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಡದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ದರೇನು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸಲು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ ದೀಪವೆಂದೆನಿಸಲು ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟದೆ सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सजन बंधवे सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सजन बंधवे गुरवे मधुसूदना गुरवे मधुसूदना पोषकाय जय सद्गुरुदेवा। शांति शांति शांति। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय।